Now that we have knitted stitches and we're calling our project done, we need to be able to get these live stitches off of our needle without them coming unraveled. So we need to do what's called a bind off. This is a traditional style bind off. There's several different kinds. Some are decorative and some are more appropriate for stretchiness when, like, say your pattern has a ribbed edge and you need to continue to keep that edge stitchy. When you need to continue to keep that edge stretchy. But this traditional bind off can be used pretty much with anything and is what most patterns are going to call for. To do this, we are going to start by knitting 2 stitches. Again, it doesn't matter. I am knitting Continental, but it's the same if you are knitting with your holding the yarn in your right hand Western style. I knit the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to take our left hand needle and we're going to pick up the very first stitch that we knit. And then we are going to bring them both kind of to the tip here, and I use my pointer finger to make sure that this stitch doesn't come off the needle before I want it to. So we actually want this first stitch to come off the end of the needle, and this second stitch is going to stay on it. So we're going to slide it down here, and we use the tip of our needle to pull that second stitch through the first stitch, and then we can just drop that one off of our needle. And then to be able to continue in this manner, we now have to stitch 1 more. We always need to have 2 on our right hand needle in order to make this work. So we pick up that first one, and we slide it over the top of the second, and then we can just drop it off. And now we're going to knit another stitch, pick the first one up, slide it over the top of the second, and drop it off. Now look what happened here. My yarn split, and so I can tell I can't really slide it. I have a piece of that stitch I dropped off is still on the other side, so I'm just going to pick that up and get it over it here. Sometimes that happens. There we go. Because sometimes yarn doesn't like to cooperate. Anyway, so knit a stitch, pick up the first, pull off. And you're going to continue this all the way down to the very end of your project, and I will meet you there. Okay, so I am down to my very last 2 stitches, and I am going to get this last one knit here, and then we're going to pass that over, and we just can pull it tight. And you'll notice, so we've got 1 stitch left on our needle, and notice your cast off edge and how it has a very nice, neat, it looks like a braid on top. It looks like your knit stitches that are vertical, but it's a horizontal edge there, unified. So we can actually, what I do is I pull it big like this, and then we're just gonna cut that loop, and you pull out the live yarn, and that last stitch is secure because we made kind of a little slip knot at the end there. So that is how you cast off using the traditional method of casting off, and it's probably the one that you are going to use the most often.